Yo, what's good with y'all? Welcome back to the Creative Cast. Today we're going to talk about the taming of my aggression and the suppressing of my anger. Or should I say suppression of my anger. And what I learned. And yeah, let's get started.
The Creative, the Creative Cast, the Creative, the Creative Cast.
All right. The taming of my aggression. The suppression of my anger and how I got through it. On what I've learned. Yeah, what I've learned. Technically, I didn't get through it. I just learned how to deal with it without being a monster, I guess you would say. Because truthfully, I'm the only person who knows how crazy I am, or how crazy I still am. To saying crazy, I just know how to control it better, and that's really a huge thanks to Jordan Peterson, to be honest, and just really being pushed into the spiritual route. Learning about my ego, as I should have already known about, since I'm heavy in the knowledge and learning a whole lot of stuff, right? But I just never got around to my personal self, to learning about my ego, the super ego, the id, and things like that. It really helped me. So I'm grateful that Jordan Peterson was around. To really bring that level of knowledge to somebody who was struggling to even control his intrusive thoughts. And then on that note, is to be honest, you can't really control intrusive thoughts. You just, when they come to your mind, you label them as, okay, that's intrusive. So your mind is already conscious of, oh shit, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, I get it. And then they'll eventually die down. So every time you think of it, you just remind your brain that it's intrusive. And it's literally the first step, because you have to acknowledge them. You can't run from them. It's like running from your problems, Like I've said before on these podcasts, I've thought about murder. I've thought of every scenario in which I could do a murder. I've thought of mass murder. I've thought of tons of scenarios on that. I've thought of suicide. Not so many scenarios on that one because, I know a bunch of straightforward ways, so I really didn't need to. But murder, there's just so many possibilities. There's so many ways to do it, with or without getting caught. So you can only imagine the kind of warfare I was having with myself. That shit was different. That shit was difficult, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Difficult. Especially before the spiritual stuff, or before I even started learning about oneness with your mind, oneness with your body, the stuff that we should all know. I was going crazy, man. And then being at a job that kind of warranted human indecency kind of didn't help. You can only imagine the things I would be talking about with myself after a customer said some shady shit to me, or just something that dug deep into my pride and my ego. And when you do that, it creates this barrier around me that is nothing but my shadow. It's nothing but my shadow and dark energy. It's kind of weird that I say that, or kind of funny that I say that, because shadow was actually the type of thing I was trying to get away from. But in the end, it ended up protecting me. It's kind of weird. Or, like a false sense of protection, false sense of security, which your ego pretty much is. Your pride pretty much is that too, because your ego is self-importance. And when somebody makes you feel like you're not important, your pride kicks in and makes a barrier. Well, that's what mine did. And when it did that, that's when I always start thinking about murdering people, or ending the person's life in front of me that just said some crazy shit to me. Or it can't even be that crazy. This person I could be talking, right? And this person could have been like, "Oh, shut up," or disregard what I say, which okay, in hindsight, that's one of those emotions. That's one of those things that you don't ever want to feel. You don't want to feel belittled or pushed out the way, and that's what a lot of humans feel like today. And that's kind of where their depression stems from. It gets worse over time, obviously, because they get into the real world and whatever and whatnot, right? And people will do that, and then it triggers something from the past, meaning that you never worked on it. You just suppressed it, or you just felt sorry for yourself, or you became like me and became like a monster, But a person could have been like, "Oh, shut up," or "anyways," or whatever he talking about, or the shit that people do to disregard what you just said. That stuff right there wakes up some evil energy inside me, and I know it does for other people as well. But this shit, man, sitting here and just I would stand there, and while they're talking, I would be vividly picturing me doing the deed, man. I'll tell you this one instance. At school, this one girl, she was already mad at something, so you only can imagine what a female is like in high school when it comes to projection of already being angry at something that had nothing to do with me, right? So then, she just started messing with me, because I was sitting at the same table as them. I didn't really talk to them. I just talked to my friend next to me, because that's the only my friend I had at that table. I didn't really care too much to talk to them, because they weren't talking about anything important compared, to me, ego type of shit. So in a way, I did the same thing to her, right? Projection, and then when something happens to you that you've done to somebody else, oh yeah, oh shit, you don't like that. Oh, that's different now. You just did that to them unconsciously, right? Or subconsciously. Now they're doing it to you in front of you, consciously, actually saying it to you. And now you're pissed, even though you just put that negative energy out there without even knowing. And that's what I did. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, she was just bothering me and fucking with me and shit like that. And I thought about reaching over the table and just strangling her, just hands around, and my hands are big though. Like, so like if I get a hold of you, if I reach and grab you, you're not going anywhere. I promise you that. Like, I thought of like kind of like throwing her over the table and like kind of putting my knee like on her chest to where she couldn't go anywhere, and like just putting my hands on her neck and just choking her out, like just in front of everybody, right? But the only thing different is that there was no people around. So while there would be a crowd of people around the table, like, oh my God, what is he doing? Like, get him off of her, get him off of her. Like he's choking her, right? In my instance, there would be no, like in my mind, there was no crowd of people. There was no people screaming and trying to get the cop that works there. No, it's just me and her. You know, in an alone setting, which would be ideal for a murderer, right? Because now there's no way you can get caught. So I vividly watched her life fade from her eyes. And that's like, now that instance probably doesn't sound as bad, kind of. I mean, but I'll give you another one. I probably got to go a little ways back for this one. Then I'll go to CVS. I thought about, and these are the ones that I'm talking about that my brain, like I acted on in my mind, right? Not the ones that where somebody's just talking to me normally and, you know, I'm holding something and then the only thing I can think about while they're talking is me like cutting them open and things like that. Like those are the intrusive thoughts. Those are the ones that it's like, oh my God, get away from me. I don't want to do this, right? I don't want to hurt anybody, you know? But the other ones were coming from a place of pain. So I turned that pain into like craziness, right? And so I'm like, that's why I always say, like, when people be messing with me, I'm like, bruh. And like, you know, somebody saying, oh, you don't know what I'm capable of, you know, and then you're gonna be like, what? I don't know what you're capable of, man. You ain't gonna do shit, right? People just don't know, man. It's different. Like you just don't know. And that's what I be saying about other people too. Like when people go out the deep end and they do murder somebody, it was like, well, shit, you've been tormenting that guy all his life. Well, for the past 3 years, and you know, in high school, people think that that's their whole life. That whole 4 years is their entire life. So whatever happens in high school determines their future for the rest of their lives. You know that. So it's like, it's like, just brings me back to my purpose. You know, like to end the suffering in this world or end human suffering. It's like, I don't want people to go through that because I feel that. I feel what most of these people are going through. Most of these murderers and things like that. People who've snapped. Unless, you know, you killing for money and killing somebody for money or because they took your girl. Like, nah, I don't. Well, in a way, I mean, I could tell it. I mean, you snapped, but that shit, like, it's like, okay, like it's never that serious, bro. Like, that's why I just want to teach people that money is meaningless unless you give it meaning. The only meaning it has is buying unnecessary shit. To me, unless it's food. I mean, like, obviously you would need in this world. It's obviously you would need some type of currency to buy a meal. Like, that's your necessities, obviously. Food, water, not juice, not soda, not any of the other bullshit. food, water, not snacks, not ice cream, smoothies, unless the smoothies are healthy. But even then, I mean, it'll have more calories than what you could have just ate. Like a blended banana has, I think, twice as many calories as a regular banana. So it's like that's weird to me. But it's a blended fruit, so. But anyways, back to what I was talking about, So this lady is when I first started being a manager. So my pride is at sky high. I'm a manager. And she asked me a question and I couldn't answer it, and she was like, "Well, is there a manager around here?" Like she was already being bitchy, but that's how people are in the morning. Back then, I didn't give a fuck what if it was morning or not. You bitchy with me, I would take you down. Like I would make you feel so bad about yourself, like because you made me feel bad. So it's only right that I made you feel worse. In that mindset, not anymore. I'll just go about my business now. But lady, I remember. So it's photos. I thought that she could do the photo thing at the self checkout, which apparently you can't. Which I mean is really fucking stupid, but that's on to a later date. But she wanted to use it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you can do that," thinking you could. Then she says it's not working. After a little bit, because I was trying to, I had to open and I got there a little late because who would get to work at 6:30? I tried. It's like 6:57. I had to open the doors. Oh, that too. Okay, let me get this story straight. All right, so I unlocked the doors, right? But the thing wasn't switched on, or one of the switches that we're not supposed to touch was switched on, and I didn't know. So I turned on all the doors, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do when you open. Turn on the doors, unlock the doors, and do the code for the alarm and shit. Open the doors. They were still closed. I'm like, I could have sworn I just opened these, which I did. And people were calling the store like, "Hey, the doors are not open." Like, yes, they are. I just opened them. So I go back out there, and the doors are not open. I'm like, I literally just opened these motherfuckers. Like, what the hell? What's going on? And that's actually another instance. Well, I can drive both of these stories together, actually, because both instances. And people were getting pissy because it's in the morning. So, I mean, you got to get to work. I mean, it's like, all right, like why is the store not open? I tried to get that one, but at the same time, it's like if you're gonna be, I mean, it's not my fault you're gonna be late to work. You know what I mean? Like, there's a 7-Eleven right across the street. You could just go over there and get what you want for a cheaper price. But I mean, if you want to come over here and pay more and be even more angry, if you want to suffer even more, okay, that's fine. You can do that. You're your own person. Who cares what I think, right? But I just remember that instance, people were being assholes. So I definitely thought about lighting up that entire place. Like, I don't even have a gun. So, but I know I know a couple people that would give me one, but I don't have a gun. So to think about the mass murder thing, like I didn't have a gun, but I had a knife. So you can only imagine what a mass murder would be with a knife. I can't remember if that TV show, if it was called The Following. The Following was a great TV show, by the way, but it was either called The Following or there might have been another one with that. I can't remember, but I think it was The Following, where these guys, then they were in a bank, and they all put on their mask. No, either they were in a bank or they were in like this small place at a mall. It was either one of those. I know, not the same thing, right? Not even close, but I think they were in the mall. Like it was a small place in the mall or whatever, right? And they all put their mask on, and they were stabbing people in their stomachs. Like just getting random people, just stabbing them in their stomachs, like cleared the whole room. That's not what I thought of. I more thought of like slitting people's throats. And thinking about something like that is not okay. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, you need to go get help. But in all seriousness, who's gonna help you with that? Like, this is a different case. Like, I'm not sad. I have untamed animosity in me. This isn't I'm sad, so I want to end my life, but before I end my life, I'm going to end other people's lives. No, it's fuck you niggas. I hate you niggas. Let's use a better word instead of niggas. Fuck you people. I hate all you people. And I want to take all you people down. I want to send y'all back where you came from. From, the creator, holy maker, or whatever you believe in. That's how mine was. So to tell somebody that, who, especially when I feel like nobody's listening, it'll bring those thoughts back up. It's like, not now, because if you're not listening to me, I just stop talking to you. And then when you ask, it's like, why did you stop talking? Because you're not listening. Like I start telling people that now. Like I'm not just over there talking while they're not listening, and I'm getting all angry and I'm like, I want to stomp his face out, or I want to kick his head in. Like, nah, and it's not just a murder thing either. It's just aggression in general. Like, the aggression in general, and what I see in my mind is like mania. But not mania isn't like bipolar. I'm talking about like, well, not mania. I'd say like a maniac, or some like. If you ever watch Scandal, and you know how they have like that collage of extremely fast ass pictures. It's like extremely fast before a transition. Before the transition, it's like stupid fast pictures. That's how I felt in my head. I was just seeing in my head. I just kept seeing that in my head, and I was like, holy shit. And it was just dead bodies. People like restless. I don't know if you ever seen pictures of dead bodies, but I've seen like hundreds, probably thousands. I'll say, I've seen a good few hundred. So hundreds. And then this one picture that I saw kind of sat with me, and I think I understand why. I think because I saw this person, it's like they were restless, not restless, but they were resting, with their eyes open, just there. And even thinking about it now, because I close my eyes to really get this picture, because that's the only way you can. I mean, you can get a vivid picture with your eyes open, but if you close your eyes, you can really see what it is you're talking about. And that's kind of what I want my viewers to do. It's like anytime you feel like this extreme pressure in your head to where you're nervous, or you have any type, if you're anxious or any type of, you know, any animosity that I like me or any type of depression, I want you to really like, you know, close your eyes and really like visualize what that is. And once you visual, it's gonna hurt like a bitch, bro. It is going to hurt. But when you do that, you're giving you're kind of giving it a presence, you know, instead of, you know, you thinking about it, but oh no, I don't even think about that, and suppressing it. Because when, as we all know, if you suppress something, it comes back tenfold. So if you give it a presence, you know, and know, hey, I know this is in my body, or hey, I know that I think this in my mind. That's your first step to I wouldn't say getting over it, but that's your first step. Well, yeah, that's your first step to quote unquote getting over it, because we truly don't get over anything. We just learn to learn to live with it, or it just, you know, gets so small inside of us to where we don't even remember what it is. Or when you do remember what it is, it's like, oh yeah, I used to think about that. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So it's not nothing, you know. But back to what I was saying, you know, just the look on her eyes, man, and like on her face, it was different. It was like, this is what I've seen when I've thought about murder. This female that just so happened to show up on my Reddit page, kind of resonates with me in a way, because this is what I've seen in my dreams. This is what I've seen in my daydreams and in my thoughts. From that point on, I was like, damn. Because I've seen countless dead bodies, and like, they've never really, I just saw them and was like, okay. Or, you know, at night, you know, you're scared of every fucking thing. So I see them at night, it's like, oh, spooky. Let's not go to bed yet. Let's watch something else. Let's watch some TV or something. But this one stuck with me. Oh, and also when I saw King Von's autopsy, it kind of messed with me a little bit, because it was like, one, how did y'all get this picture out? No, one, who let you take a picture? Two, why would you send this out to a mass audience of fans younger than me for fans that are younger than me that are gonna see this? That's crazy, you know? You just traumatize some people if they haven't already seen gore, which I've seen a lot of gore. I've seen a lot of shit. So it didn't really. I'm still a little under the weather, my bad. That's why, you know, these podcasts haven't been really coming out. But I'm good now. Along with some other factors, of course. Like, I'm not just, oh, I'm sick, so I'm not gonna do anything right now. But like King Von's, it messed with me a little bit, because I wasn't expecting to see that. I thought it was fake, you know, because you see, you know, his chest cut open and how they tried to, you know, stitch it back up, you know, because I forgot what they take all the organs. I think they take the organs out, or they look at the organs. I can't remember, but they do something. They take I think they do take the organs out. They like cut along the collarbone, and they cut down the chest to open up the chest, and I think they break the ribs and things like that. But I don't know, this particular thing, it was like, it's like, hey, not talking about King Von's, I'm talking about the girl that I saw. It was like, damn, this actually is really crazy. And I just always, now that's always vivid in my mind. It's always in my mind. Like, would you really want to see this? Would you really, if you ended up doing the deed, which I thought that I was in fear of doing? So I was like, either this is, and I started working on myself after my grandmother Sugar passed, because that did break me, and I'm not ashamed to say that anymore. It broke me. It did. I stopped talking to everybody. The little friends that I had, I cut everybody off. And then the thought of, and I was already, a loner anyway, so it didn't really bother me too much to cut people off. Like, yeah, I thought about my friends, but I'm not a social butterfly anyway. With them, obviously I'm goofy, it's your friends, they get to see a side of you that other people don't. But even then, it was a character anyway. But yeah, I cut everybody off, because then these thoughts of murder and, seeing my granny's face, who looked, just so happened to look just like my great aunt, but from different families. See what I mean? And seeing them both looking the same, one had already passed, so I knew what her face still looks like, and one that was kind of on the verge of passing in hospice. It's a different feel. I couldn't even look at her, So I got back to school. I told like my best friend or whatever, but she, I guess she told other people, and then other people around me were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, your grandmother passed," like, and I thought of it like as a joke that they were doing that, right? And that goes back, always thinking somebody's out to get you. Yeah, it goes back. I think my second podcast, going back, or third, hell, whichever one. It's one of those. It's thinking that people are out to get you, right? So they did that. Oh shit. Oh shit. That was different, bro. That was truly different. I was like, nah, fuck y'all, man. Nah. And I just had to, and I think it was 2 days after it happened. Because, my dad, he was trying not to. He's like, I don't know what happened, I'm going to go to, where she was staying at, right? And in my mind, like, I was like, I know. I knew what time it was. The thing with that was, so, going through that whole day, and then, having to go to work afterwards. And, somebody at work having a bad day, right? For some reason, the only day I'd say what's up to somebody, say what's up, and they just looked at me different. I was like, all right, fuck you. That's fine with me. I don't have to say nothing to nobody. I put my headphones in like I usually do. Like I usually did back at Burger. And shit, sat there and listened to music. I will say this one thing though, like August Alsina brought me through some tough times, man. Where you can shut the world off. Or shut the people around you off. That's really, and that's another thing that my animosity kind of stemmed from. I just wanted to be alone. I hated being around people. I hated crowds. But that also goes back to my social anxiety and having to talk. And just having to just be in the vicinity of people. I didn't like different energies. I don't, even to this day, like you have to. And it actually pushed in with some family. Like I just didn't like being around different energies or people that weren't like me, because I talk to myself every single day, even before the spiritual stuff, even before I was even, goated like I am now, right? But before I became that guy. But this is like extreme self-esteem issue, Jalen. This is extreme social anxiety, Jalen. This is extreme pound for pound most evil motherfucker on this planet. We all are evil. That's why I don't really like when people, talk about murderers and how they do. Like, I'm not saying we should glorify them. We should never glorify evil, right? But we should at least help evil. Help them come out of that evil and try to put them on a path to good. If we did that, but first you got to realize that you're evil. So get the fuck off your high horse thinking that you're just holier than thou. Like, I don't give a fuck what religion you're in. I don't care what you do. You're still an evil motherfucker. I don't care. And evil comes in everything, every shape, all shapes and forms, shapes and sizes, I should say. You could be a pastor with a wife and you committed adultery. That's evil as hell. Because now she feels crazy. Now she feels bad. That's evil as fuck. Cheating on your wife, that's evil, bro. And then with some girl that you just met, evil. That's evil. That's a sin anyway. Going out getting drunk and forcing sex on females or vice versa, that's fucking evil. Drugging somebody is evil. And there's like the common instances in this world, but it's like, and like people see this type of shit and it's like, oh, but they did this for charity, they're such a good person, or they did this. Like, fuck all that. I don't give a fuck what you did, bro. What did you do when the doors were closed? What did you do when your shadow was in your face? What did you do when you saw that motherfucker take shape? My shadow was so great. I gave my shadow so much power that it was in its physical form. Every time it walked past me, it was cold. Cold. Not hot. Cold. If something passes by you and it's warm energy, it's warming. You're not, even if it's evil, like you're not knowing. But imagine somebody walk past you and they're ice cold, frozen, to the point where it hurts when somebody walks past you because of how cold they are. You telling me that wouldn't get under your skin? You telling me that when you felt that shit, you wouldn't want to fix yourself? Shit. Trust me. Promise you don't want to feel that. Shit different. When you turn your lights off in your room and you see something in the corner, and suddenly the room is ice cold. Hell, you walk in upstairs from the staircase to your room, which there's this big ass family room that has nothing but darkness, and you see it. Suddenly you walk past it, it's cold. You laying on the couch and you look over to the corner and there's something standing there. You look over, it's gone. But now the room is sub-zero. Sorry for my stomach, I'm kind of hungry, but I can't eat because I'm on a fast. Until 12, but anyways. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. The road I was headed on, easily 25 to life. Easily capital murder. Easily death penalty. Easily. and you want to talk about you're a good person. Hell, people, you know what people saw about me? Oh, he's nice, he's generous, he's loving, giving. He, always coming with the good advice. Deep down, bro, even when I told people how I was feeling, I'd sugarcoated the fuck out of it because I didn't want to lose people. Even though I like being alone, it's different from being alone is different from being lonely. And I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to deal with this by myself. But I did eventually anyway because I shut people off around me and told them, no, I'm good, I'm straight. I remember somebody asked me and I was like, this is the funniest lie I've ever told anybody ever. And I was a sociopathic liar. I promise. I promise I was. I believe this shit. I didn't believe half the shit came out of my mouth that was the truth. But when it came about me lying, oh yeah, I believe that. And it used to kill me inside when somebody didn't believe it. And that's what would open up that evilness too. Even though I'm being evil to them. So it's like, pot calling tea kettle black. But, I just didn't want to be lonely, man. But at the end of the day, you're lonely anyway because it's just you and yourself. Or if you want to take it that way. I just needed silence. When I had silence, I was A-okay. Even now. Just to hear my own voice and nothing else is God sent. Feels great, man. Like, to be honest, I want y'all to replay what I just said. When this podcast come out, I want you to replay it and just listen and close your eyes. I want you to visualize what I'm talking about. And I promise you, if you're as empathetic as I am, you're gonna feel that. If you have enough human decency to walk in somebody else's shoes, you're gonna feel that. That shit is gonna hit you like a truck, and maybe you would think about yourself. Promise. And now, onto kind of like a brighter note. What I've learned from this journey that I've been on about me and my anger is pretty much what I've been saying. It's just pain and fear. That's all it is. Anger is pain times fear, and I've said that before in one of my podcasts. That's all it is, man. And when you think about the anger in your body and how bad it gets, you can always go back to the past and look. And don't let somebody, and also, don't let a motherfucker tell you, oh, don't look in the past. No, don't, just go forward. Like, how you gonna go forward if your past trauma is in your present? It's gonna be in your future too, dumbass. You gotta go back. Sometimes you do gotta take. I don't know why people don't use this analogy. You gotta take 3 steps back to go forward sometimes. That's what we do when we talk about failure. When you fail at something miserably, people don't tell you, if they do, then they're idiots. But I say that in the nicest way possible, right? Because nobody's better than anybody. But I would never tell somebody this, but they're idiots if they tell you this, what I'm about to say. But if somebody says, if you failed at something miserably, right? Oh, keep going, just keep going. Yeah, you failed, keep going. No, fuck that. Take a step back. Take a couple steps back. Figure out why you failed. Then go forward. Promise you it'll be better in life. You know how long it took me to truly find my purpose? I'm only 19, right? But I found my purpose. Like, there's people who are 40 that don't know what they want to do, literally on the edge of jumping off a cliff or jumping off the bridge. And in no means is I'm trying to make this funny at all. I'm dead ass serious. There's people like holding on to life by a string that just don't know what to do. And those are the people I try to help and help them find their purpose. Yeah, I'm young, so they're gonna probably be like, "What do you know?" Right? Which a lot of people do. I mean, it's ego. You think because you got like 20 something years on me that you must know more. You must know more about this life thing. Or when we're both going through different life experiences. So truly, nobody knows more about life than the next person. Especially when you're going through 2 different experiences. 5, hell. Shit. 8 billion different experiences. Because how many people are in this world? Like, it's the biggest thing that I've learned is to not let well, for one, don't let past experiences determine your future, right? But I've also learned in order to do that, you kind of have to go back into that battlefield. Learn about the battlefield. Conquer that battlefield. Then go home. It's like, let's say we go to Nazi Germany, and I think it was Stalingrad. Is it Stalingrad? I can't remember, but so since I can't remember, I won't say Stalingrad. I'll just say Russia in general, right? When the Germans went into Russia, they didn't take account of how cold it was there, right? They probably have blueprints of Russia, kind of, but they just didn't take account of the weather. So they starved, they froze, right? Froze to death. Now let's say after that happened, Hitler had more troops in the back and he figured out that they were dying because of that. Then they made coats and these big ass winter coats, because it is cold as hell in Russia. Big winter coats. I know this is a crazy ass comparison, but just bear with me. Let's say they made coats, thermal things for their army, right? Then they were like, okay, that's their battlefield. That's how they play. Because it's winter, so it's ice fucking cold. Well, colder than ice. So now we're going to send them back into Russia, but this time we're prepared. Let's say they conquer Stalingrad, or they conquer Russia this time, right? Then after they conquer Russia, they come back home. Well, half of the troops come back home because, they would want to stay there to keep the rule, right? Keep your territory that this is now. Sorry, I'm popping my fingers. A little cold in here. Let's say they did that and they came home. I can take that analogy, even though, everybody hates Nazi Germany, right? Even though when you figure out that they're just like you, it makes them even more scary. Makes this shit even more scarier. Knowing that Joseph Stalin could be either any one of us. Shit. I tell you right now. That shit gets scary, man. Or it could be invigorating, whatever you want it to be. But it's just, oh wait, no, I'm not doing my analogy. So let's say that's my analogy, right? Now, Hitler's victorious because he took a step back because he failed. And we'll say that you failed on suppressing your mental issues because you did, because now it's in your present. Mentally you failed. If you take it like that, you'd be like, okay, I failed. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself and being like, oh, I fail at everything. Why is life like this? Life is not worth living. Which is your anxiety talking, actually, because it's like, fuck, like, I keep failing. I'm going to fail in the future, right? But let's say you take a step back and be like, okay, let me stop freaking out for a second. Even though, that's hard to do. To be like, tell your brain, all right, stop going balls to the wall for a second. Right? It's hard. But so you say, all right, stop flipping shit. All right. So I failed at this particular thing in the past. Let me set a layout of the battlefield that I was just on. Okay. It was back when I was 16, and these people were, just messing with me, right? Hypothetically speaking. And, they were talking shit about me. But I didn't do anything about it. I just let them do what they do. Didn't tell anybody. I just let it build up over time, and I suppressed the anger I felt from them bullying me. So now I'm going to be a dickhead to everybody else in my present, in my future, because now I think everybody's out to get me. But if we set that battlefield where we know what happened, we can actually create another mental image of us standing up to those bullies or standing up to whatever happened to you. Even though it didn't happen in real life, you can give your brain a positive image of you doing something about it now, but it's like it's back then, since it's a memory. And then it brings it to your present. So now it's like, so now your brain is like, oh shit, he did stand up to them, when you clearly didn't. But I don't know how to explain this thoroughly, but I remember hearing it and I tried it. It was like, it helps. Or hell, even if you can't switch it, you acknowledging that you failed back then, and that that it's not going to be the same, and just letting yourself know that it's not going to be the same then. I'm not going to be a dickhead because other people were dickheads to me as a young child. You're starting to overcome that battlefield. You're starting to conquer that battlefield and those enemy soldiers. Like, and once you conquer those enemy soldiers, you have a brighter present and an even brighter future. Because if the Nazis, it wouldn't have been bright for us, but it would have been bright for the Nazis, right? Or Germany as a whole. So the present would have been brighter because, okay, we just destroyed Russia. Now that's our entire territory. And in the future, hell, Germany could have been Russia. So Germany would have been on a wider scale, probably booming economy, things like that. It probably would have been one of the top traders, You never know. So that could have been their brighter future. They still would have got dog walked by the Allied forces, but you know, but maybe they would have been just a bigger Germany today and good in the trading markets. But no, I take that analogy to be like, you're not your failure, and that's what this journey taught me, is that you're not your failure. You're not what those people were back in the day when you were little. You don't. No, I take that back. You don't have to be that same person as them. Because generally, what you hate, you are. Sometimes that's what happens. So you are the pot calling the tea kettle black, or you are a hypocrite. Like, oh, I hate how evil he was. Well, guess what, nigga? You evil too. You just like him. On that type of greater scale. Or hell, even probably worse. You just haven't tapped into that yet. I tapped into mine multiple times. I didn't hurt anybody. But I've been had the same animosity since I was, young. Kindergarten. Before that, preschool. Shit. So just imagine how that builds up over time to where like that shadow becomes an actual figure, to where you can't even turn the lights off, man. So, oh, you a child, oh man, you scared of the dark, or you a pussy? So, nah, bro. Scared of what's in the dark. Scared of the shadow that I actually was supposed to be conquering, right? Who's taller than me, stronger than me, and has ice cold, no emotional, an ice cold, emotionless body and face. There's no energy there, which is kind of funny because when I get angry, I get really hot, but it's like heat sweat. Nah, I wouldn't say heat sweats. It's more like it's cold sweats, I should say. I get hot, but then at the same time I get cold. So it's like this is weird, because my head will get like I just put it in a fucking like a boiling pan or hot oil. That's how hot my head would get. And recently, I kind of when I was sick, like really sick, I had to go to work anyway. It's a little 10-hour shift. I was sneezing and shit, so it kind of pissed me off. That's how I know when I'm going through it, is when the only thing I do is sneeze. Cause I don't cough. I don't ever cough. I just sneeze. So if I cough, then I know it's like, okay, this might be the flu, or okay, this might be that disease. It might be something. But yeah, at work, this lady kept coming back for like 3 hours. We were sneezing, and she just kept coming back over there with these fucking coupons, man. It was pissing me off. And then I saw her coming back one time. I was like, fuck you. So I went to the bathroom. I was losing my mind. Like, I was gonna lose everything that I worked on for the past almost 6-7 months, man. So I was like, let me just go to the bathroom real quick. I opened the door and like slammed my head into the door so hard that my ears started ringing, and I could feel the vibration go down to my neck. Do you know how hard you have to headbutt a door to feel that shit? Like, sound travels, right? But usually it's just around your face and your head. That shit went to my neck and into my chest, because I was like, I got to the bathroom, felt, getting all teary-eyed and shit. Locked the door. clench my fists, just put my head back on the wall, slant it on the wall one more time. Shouldn't have done that, but it's like, and I just, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and started to control the fucking psychoticness that was in my mind. Right at that point, right? But I didn't think about, killing her or nothing like that. I was just done, man. But what I learned, on a brighter note, again, what I learned was, you gotta fight these demons. Like, you can't just succumb to them. You can't let them subdue you or use your body. You can't let them attack you, is what I learned. And I also learned that suppressing them is not the greatest way. Like, you have to conquer them. Like, you have to. You have the blueprint. You have the blueprint of the battlefield. You have all of that. You will always remember that. You will always remember past traumas. You will forever remember those. So why not conquer it now while you're still young? Or hell, even if you are in your 40s listening to my podcast, you're still young, my guy. You're 40 years young. 42, 45, 49 years young. You haven't even reached midlife. You are young. But, man, I just learned that you gotta conquer these things, man. You can't just let them sit there or use them as a back burner. And you also can't talk to yourself every fucking day, and then when you get angry, you're just silent. That's the thing. I have conversations with myself. I laugh with myself. I ask myself, should I get this today? Or what do you think about this? Should I do this? And then I give myself an actual answer, like, nah, you shouldn't. Like, it's an actual answer, but it's not coming from me. It's coming from my higher self. And I just didn't know that. If I would have known, it's a little wise thing you would say, right? If I knew then what I know now, right? But, man, what a journey that I'm still going through and learning about myself every single day. Because I didn't know myself. I knew my characters. But now I'm starting to know my true self. The compassionate me. The generous me that other people saw, but I just couldn't see. And on that note, let's talk about some things that I'm grateful for, man. I'm grateful for having the money, because I see it as a privilege. I'm grateful for being given the money to get a new DAW, man. To be able to use Logic Pro X, which I'm using to record right now, and I love it. I'm grateful for being gifted this artistic expression that I have, or this infatuation with art that I have. Because now I'm constructing my own beats and constructing my song, like my audio, or should I say my lyrics around the beat. Like, I do one part of my song, like my intro, and then I do the beat, then I do my intro, then I build onto the beat and add verses, man. Like, it's really coming together now. And I just love that I'm gifted with this talent, man. I'm just in love with it, man. I'm also grateful for being able to wake up today, be able to talk, be able to eat, be able to to just be a spiritual warrior, to be gifted this knowledge by a higher power, by my higher self, to connect and be one with the Almighty Creator, man. I am grateful to be able to touch heads with the Almighty Creator after being so far away from Him. It's my higher self, being away from my higher self. My higher self being bigger than me because I wasn't ready to touch heads or to be one. And I'm also grateful to have a full just tunnel vision on my purpose. Just to have tunnel vision on my purpose now. And to know what my purchase is, and what my purpose is on a wide scale. And I'm also grateful just to know that I will fulfill my purpose. Did I already say I'm grateful for being awake? I know I did, but just need to say that again. I'm grateful for being awake, being able to see a new day, being able to see the sun. I'm truly grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for you viewers and getting me 14 downloads when I literally just started putting my stuff everywhere. I thank you for that. I thank you all for that. Everybody that watches my podcast, or even if you don't watch it, I love you dearly. I love everyone in this world like family. And I just want to thank you for tuning in to my podcast and tuning into my music also. Shameless plug. My artist name is Key the Creator. So if you want to go ahead and go to my Instagram, it's key_the_creator. And if you look in my bio, there's a link tree and it shows you everything from my podcast and my music. Shameless plug. If you want to go ahead and check me out, and my new song that's out right now called Death of an Ego is actually on all platforms under Key the Creator. Just thank you. Big thank you from me. And yeah, Key signing off.